Alright, so I'm over here at my buddy Chris's house, and he's got this 1980 El Camino that he's been building. Well, he got when he was 16, tore it apart, and it's, you know, maybe 20, 30, 40 years later. Now we're back at it, getting it back together now. But it's 400 small block, stroked. It's got the fast EFI system on there that can support X amount horsepower numbers. And these Jessel rockers here. And then, so what trans is it? Turbo 400 trans.
Yep.
And who built that one?
CK Performance, Chris over in New York.
And that's these guys' transmission specialties?
No, they built the
oh, that's the torque converter, okay.
Yep, that's Ken over in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
TSI.
And then the rear end is a
Ford 9-inch, made for the G-body from Quick Performance. 370 gear, got the disc conversion kit on it.
Okay.
Braced.
And then you got some control arms on there too, don't you? Some
yeah, Metco aluminum.
Adjustable.
Control arms, yep.
Okay.
Control arms.
Sweet.
Adjustable uppers.
But yeah, it's coming together. It's about, I'd say, I don't know, what, 80% of the way there? Something like that. What do you got? You got left? You got the fuel system.
A little bit of the fuel system, some electrical, and then just double checking everything. Do once and twice over, and should be close.
Okay. Then we got this. Go ahead.
So this being an AccuSump, this has air pressure and a piston in it. Now when you turn the key on, it turns this on. Automatically puts pressure back into the system, with it running or not running. When you start it up, the engine oil pressure will now balance out to whatever you adjust it to. So if it ever drops oil pressure running, this in theory injects a quart to 2 quarts back into the motor to keep it.
Prevents any damage.
Prevents any damage.
Hopefully. Okay, there we go. That makes sense. Now, like we were saying, these are Jessel rockers here. Here, let me get a light on them. But yeah, Jessel rockers. Pretty crazy. Alright, so we're gonna get this tank thrown in here. Now we went ahead and you got this fuel sump here, and we cut all this. We took this piece and cut it to form right to the tank, and it came out pretty decent. I like it. And then this is gonna be a drain here in case he wants to run E85, go back to pump gas or race gas, whatever. And then this is your feed line, right?
Yes, yep, feed line.
And that was that? That's dash 8, you said?
Dash 10.
Or dash 10. That's dash 10.
10 AN line, which is 1/2 inch. And then it runs all the way to the fuel rails, which are going to be dash 8, which is 3/8. And that's going to feed the system all the way back.
Okay. So yeah, we're going to get that thrown in, and then we got to figure out the fuel pump, because it's got to sit below the level of fuel, basically, so it never starves itself or anything like that. So we're going to get that thrown in, and we'll probably show you some of that. So also, this is going to be the return here. And then it's going to use one of these as the vent, this one here, and then this one's going to get capped off. Just want to show that. Here's the fuel pump that we're talking about right there.
Here's the fuel pump from Fast, which Aeromotive does make it. It's an A1000 pump, and you got your pre-filter and post-filter. So
the fucker's massive, so it's kind of hard to find a good spot to put it,
yes,
that it's not poking out everywhere.
Trying to go a little sleek here,
but that's what we're gonna do. All right, we got this fuel tank in here.
Yep. Tying up the last bolt, looking good.
And then there's where your output for the sump comes out there.
It's got a good angle.
Yeah, it should be able to wrap a line around there, no problem. And we got to figure out where this big old pump's gonna go. Now let's grab that, check it out after you get that other one done. All right, so here's the issue. So we got this big old fuel pump here. It's got to go. So say we were to put it up here. I know it's really hard to see, but somewhere up there, that puts it still below the level of the sump, basically, of the tank. But then he'd have to run the fuel line, you know, up here, and then go over the rear axle. And at that point, it would be higher than the tank. So that's where he's concerned right now of whether that's going to be okay or not. And it's not going to start the fuel pump. Only other option would be to put it back here somewhere, and there's really not any room to put it that it's not going to just stick out. So that's the next step here, figure that out. Alright, so he's going to do some more research on what to do with this pump, where he can and can't put it. And then, like we were saying, he's just got, after the fuel, it's just some electrical, buttoning all this up, getting the gauges all wired up. Most of them are already done. But then yeah, from there, if you want to see more of this car when it's running, it is going to be back on here. We're going to kind of follow the progress on the car. So if you want to see more of it, just go ahead and subscribe, and we'll update it as it goes. See ya.